WRKS 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. We'll have Kyle Morris in about 5 minutes, the owner of Live Oaks Golf Club. Played football for the Florida Gators. Loves him some golf. We may tie in all sorts of topics over the next 20 minutes. Kyle Morris will join us in a few. He'll join us on the Parish Brewing guest line. I want to give a shout-out to our friends at Capital City. So I don't know when that was. Monday, maybe? They dropped by and dropped a couple of kegs by in the Y'all Lifestyle. Not Y'all Lifestyle. In the Out of Bounds studio, Bank Plus studio. And we now have Parish Brewing Cane Break on. It's a wheat ale. It's delicious. And I look forward to having one. And for you, too, as we, open this up and start having some of the little get-togethers and parties that we've had for several years. Do you realize we've had several thousand people come through this studio, Blake? Not at the same time, but over the last few years, which has been pretty awesome. And then we have either Miller Lite or Coors Light. I don't remember which one. I think they brought Miller Lite. Anyway, we have fresh beer, dude.
Radical.
Yeah, okay.
I'm excited.
All right. Blake wants me to hit the giveaway. So we're giving away a $100 gift certificate to Kessler Prime. It's National Filet Mignon Day. We're talking fillets and all kinds of fun stuff. How do you like to cook it? We're giving away that a $100 gift certificate to Kessler Prime, and or that'll be one winner. Another winner will get a box of 4 fillets from Welcome Home Butcher in Starkville. WelcomeHomeButcher.com. So that's pretty awesome. Here's how you enter to win. Text us on the Mississippi Ag text line, 601-885-3776, and just give us your preferred method of cooking. We have some unbelievable text. You guys are walking us through the temp, the dry rub, the marinade. There's some great pictures. Thank you, Chris, for showing us a picture of 105.9 on the dial. It doesn't hurt if you show us that you're listening on, the Out of Bounds radio app or your radio dial in your car, or, however else you're consuming the show. We are receiving a lot of cast iron skillet text, and I love that.
It's the way to go.
There are so many things you can do with the cast iron skillet. And for National Filet Mignon Day, you guys rock. And let's just go ahead and throw in, the fact that there's nothing like a little Four Roses bourbon with your filet tonight. By the way, I'm a fan. I've been a fan since I was 5 years old, or when I can remember sports. And I'm going to continue to be a fan. All day, every day, and as many times as I want to be on Saturday. All right, live in the Bank Plus studio. Bank Plus, it's more than a name, it's a promise. Bring the text on. Mississippi Ag, John Deere Tractor text line is 601-885-3776. We were talking about the golf boom. We're going to visit with Kyle Morris in just a second. We're going to have a hunting and fishing boom. You've already had a boating boom, and that's all coming out of the pandemic without live sports. NFL's going to play, thank goodness. We'll see with college football. I don't have confidence that I'm an optimistic person, and we have a fun, I think, upbeat, uplifting show. But I have to tell our listeners this. Do I want us to play college football? Yes, obviously. Do I think we will? I would think best case scenario is 50-50, but I think it's much, much lower than that. And here's why. College presidents and chancellors just, to me, don't have the backbone, the resolve, or the grit to grind through what it will look like. They just don't. I mean, once they see a whiff of pressure, risk, or media scrutiny, they're gone. Whereas the private sector, they don't. I mean, Roger Goodell with the NFL, he doesn't give a damn. They're going to play. Again, I think this is really low, but it's a $16 billion business. And other private sector industries that have, really seeing this through, because it's going to be hard. The next guy knows what I'm talking about that's about to jump on the show. All right, you're listening to Out of Bounds. The show is brought to you by Live Oaks Golf Club, and we welcome in the owner, Kyle Morris, who played college football, and he's one of our friends and a great partner on the show. Kyle, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, Bo. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I do have to tell you this. So Saturday, my son played golf at Live Oaks. He had a great time, by the way, so I was in the golf cart with him. And that was the first time that I'd been on the back nine, okay, since you either have finished or it looks like to me, or if you haven't, you're 95% done. But so we got to drive up from the golf course to see the Reed House inside those inside the Live Oaks. And of course, I've been there with you from the parking lot, but it looked great, Kyle.
It was, we've gotten that wrapped up. Of course, there's still some little things to straighten up, but we did have our first wedding. Had a rehearsal dinner on Friday night, wedding on Saturday. Of course, Bo, it was hot. You know, you get married in August. Hey, I can't help you, you know, but it's hot, but it cooled off at the night, when it started getting dark, but had a great time, had great compliments. Everybody loved the atmosphere and of course, we're trying to do it in accordance with social distancing, and that's the great thing about, having that area of 5 or 6 acres and, 16,000 square feet under roof. And there's a lot of things we can do that other people can't do right now to safely social distance. So we're excited. Of course, everything's kind of on hold right now with it. Nobody knowing what to do with the COVID, but we'll work through it and we'll come out the other side better, and we're excited.
Yeah, no, I could tell y'all were set up for a wedding. They had all the chairs out there because this was probably, we were going through there at, I don't know, maybe 10:30 or 11 a.m. in the morning. And it looks great. The landscaping's awesome. 16,000 square feet at the Reed House for corporate events, employees, clients, you name it. Rehearsal dinners, parties, and weddings. Are you happy with it? You like it?
I am. It's, of course, look, anytime we've been building, between building a new house at home and 2 years of construction at the golf course, I hate builders right now, but we're glad it's completed. And it's just anytime you do 2 years of construction, it wears you out, and we had great contractors we worked with, but it just 2 years of building. So we're excited about what we can do going forward. Really looking forward to it and think we've got something to offer that, it's like we say, you've got to see it to understand. Mm-hmm. So once you come out and see what we've got, we're really excited about what we're going to be able to do and being part of the community and hosting some really special parties.
So you can call 601-982-1231, and they'll be happy to give you a tour of the Reed House in the back of Live Oaks Golf Club for any corporate event or social occasion. Kyle Morris on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Give me an idea of what the golf rounds have looked like the last 90 days.
Bo, we went back and looked at it, and we're up year to date. We're up about 25% over a year ago. But now all of that has been, that's about 2,000, 2,500 rounds of golf that we're up. But every bit of that, because we didn't come out of the winter on fire, we had a lot of bad weather. Every bit of that has been since, the middle of March. And certainly depending on what college football does will affect our winter, because this is a time when we really start slowing down, because you've got once Labor Day comes, you got dove hunting, you've got bow hunting, you've got college football, pro football. So if those things don't come through, but even if they do, you're going to certainly have a different environment on campus. A lot more people staying around Jackson and playing golf in the morning and watching football in the afternoon. So we're expecting and ready for a really big fall and just hope a lot of people get to come out and see the changes we've made, and hopefully decide to be part of the Live Oaks family, and we can get some new members and continue to grow like we have been.
Well, so if we play college football, I think it's going to be no spectators, Kyle.
Well, this thing it's so ridiculous how political this thing has become. And, I'm certainly thankful that in no way do I think golf is essential business, but the fact that we've been able to remain open and operate and function and do what we've been able to do, we're very thankful. But I think the only way the SEC can play football is if they say we're not going to have any spectators and we're not going to test for COVID unless you have symptoms. If we're just going to test everybody, look, the numbers show that it does not affect young people. The ones at risk are the older individuals. And Nick Saban was right. Those kids are safer on campus than they are at home. But the problem's going to be, I've got no question they're going to crank up and they're going to have the best intentions. What's going to happen when, the newscasts say, well, 250 students in Starkville tested positive yesterday. And that's going to be the difficult part, because you're going to have people that are going to step up and say, you know what, we've quarantined them. It's no different than if they were back home. It's not going to affect anything. I mean, if we're going to take that approach, then you got to shut everything down and everybody lock your doors and nobody see each other for 30 days. And that's just not realistic. So it's going to be difficult for the decision makers to step out and stick their head out there saying, we're going to make this work. I hope they do. There's no question. I've heard you talking about it for 2 weeks. College football is going to be different at the end of this, no matter what. And I think if the SEC and ACC play and pull it off, there's going to be a big change in recruiting, because if you don't think kids aren't sitting at home saying, hey, there's some administration that cares about my ability to go play the game that I want to play, and here's a group that said, oh, no, we're going to shut it down. So I think you're looking at a huge opportunity, but the other side is it could backfire too.
Right.
Because then all of a sudden, if we try to force this thing and make it work when it's not safe, now you got all those mamas at home saying, I want these people that are going to look out for my child's health before dollars. But they both got to work together wherever you are, and it's difficult. But personally, I don't think we play. I don't think anybody's playing except the NFL.
Yeah. Kyle Morris, owner of Live Oaks Golf Club and the Reed House, on the Parish Brewing guest line. He joins us on WRKS ESPN 105.9 The Zone. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel. YouTube Live, search Out of Bounds Sports. Do you watch? All right, so I've gotten into the NFL the last few years. For years, Kyle, I liked it. I kind of dabbled into it. And then the red zone, the quarterback, you know all about this. You played quarterback, and you were fortunate to be coached by one of the best QB coaches in the history of the game, Spurrier. But with the boom and the quality of quarterback play, Russell Wilson, Rodgers, Breeze, Dak, all this stuff that's happening, and the red zone, and we were so immersed into sports betting as business and social. I've really gotten into it. Do you? Is it background music? Do you watch NFL? How does that work?
NFL, growing up, it seemed like, and going down to my grandmother's in Simpson County, it seems like every single weekend the Falcons and the Saints played. You turn on the TV and it's Falcons and Saints. The problem I've got with pro football, and to me, pro football is popular because of gambling and fantasy football, where we are. Now, don't get me wrong. You go the city of New Orleans or New York or Dallas or wherever, they're crazy. But in the South where college football is what we love. I was never much of a pro sports fan. The problem is, I think, it's like they pass out one book and everybody has to follow these same rules. You don't have many coaches that are willing to go for it at midfield, 4th and 1 in the first half. No, we got to punt, or we got to kick field goals, or we got to run the same offense. I mean, if you watch an NFL game, 99% of the time, if we throw an incomplete pass on first down, we're going to run it on second down because we want 3rd and 6. We don't want 3rd and 10. And that, to me, that's just boring. I love Spurrier's, didn't work in the NFL, but you get somebody like Spurrier or Mike Leach that says, I don't care what you're going to do. We're going to do what we're going to do and see who's right. And you don't get that very much in the NFL. And that's what draws me. I don't enjoy it. I root for certain players, and like to watch them. But, it's to me, you that happens when you're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. So when I grow up with, John Elway and Dan Marino and, so
Montana, man,
I don't get to watch those guys anymore. So certainly a lot of talented quarterbacks, a lot of talented players, but, it does get too big also, where it's ridiculous some of the money they're making.
Yeah.
And decisions prior to, the 90s, decisions in pro football were not made about money. They were made about, and I'm talking about personal decisions. Players weren't worried about their contract because they weren't making that much money. They were out playing football, and now you've got individuals have become businesses, so you're looking at Dak Prescott. If somebody would have told you growing up, Bo, that you're going to have a kid from Mississippi that's going to go to the NFL and he's going to not sign a contract that's for $35 million a year the second they put it in front of him, you'd have said it's crazy.
Right.
But again, it's every team has 53 individual businesses, and they're all trying to run individually but fit into the team concept. That's why when the Pac-12 came out the other day, when the college players are never going to get paid the way that they would like to get paid. That is not happening.
No.
Will never happen. Because the first thing is, and I don't care, college is a huge business, but it is so unbelievable the amount of things the athletes get that make their life so much easier. The biggest nightmare on the University of Florida campus was going through registration and going through drop ad. I never saw that.
Right.
If they told me,
boy, I did.
And it's a nightmare. Okay, but I don't. When they told me I've got to get my class schedule, I went and saw my academic counselor, and he handed me one piece of paper, and I didn't have to do anything.
Right.
When I needed a tutor, I went downstairs and said I need a tutor. They said, okay, what day works for you? When I was hungry, I went downstairs and I ate. When I was sick, I went downstairs and I saw a doctor. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that these kids get, especially now when they're building barbershops in the locker room and masseuses and, these kids aren't, they always want more, but they've already got so much more for what they're provided. They're not going to pay them. It's just not going to happen.
No, they'll continue to bump their stipends and give them everything that you just listed, like more assets and benefits, so to speak.
Well, but the other part of that, Bo, is this thing right here. If they don't play college football, there's going to be so much money lost.
Oh,
because you've got that guy that has for the past 20 years and has already budgeted in, I'm going to spend $20,000 a year between tickets, parking, tailgate, hotels, or condos.
Right.
My gosh, I can take that $20,000 and I can make my man room awesome.
Yes.
And invite my buddies over every Saturday after I've played 18 holes of golf at Live Oaks.
I've talked to 5 guys in the last 3 weeks that just just told me what they were doing, it was almost exactly what you just said.
And so you're going to have a lot of that money dry up in these college campuses. You know, when you go to the Square in Oxford, and half of those businesses, and this is what, you know, I remember in the late 70s. I mean, hell, I remember in the late 70s going to Gainesville with my dad for a football game, and we didn't win a game. But the college atmosphere of riding down University Avenue and the band coming through, it was not so corporate that it was still that small feeling where everybody loved the Gators. You know, everybody got there early, and the fight song, and it was just the atmosphere. And now it's a little more corporate. But if you can imagine the Square in Oxford, and I don't know the number, but half of those businesses are going to shut their doors and go out of business. And those are people that love Ole Miss.
Right.
And they're going to get replaced with corporate businesses, somebody that's sitting in Dallas or New York or whatever that says, we're going to open this little shop in Oxford, and they're going to have a nice business, but it's not going to have that feel of we love Ole Miss and we're here to support the Rebels.
That's a great point.
And it's going to change the atmosphere, and the local money is going to move out. So these budgets are going to drastically change. I know they've been talking, you know, you're going to see salaries change. It is all going backwards about 30 years. And we're going to start over. I think you're going to see a lot of different realignment. The NCAA, I don't think they might survive 1 year after this, but they're not going to survive much longer because they serve no purpose other than aggravate.
And we'll need a CEO of college football for Power 5
Sure.
and for G5, right?
I think you'll have, you know, the commissioners of each conference, and then you're going to have one person or a group of people. And we're going to, it is what it is. And we're going to all, instead of pretending it's not, we're going to say it's a big business, and we're going to run it with common sense and not with the liberal professors making decisions.
Oh, good Lord.
It'll be different.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for jumping on. Kyle Morris, Live Oaks Golf Club, the Reed House. It is set up for corporate events, weddings, rehearsal dinners, social occasions. You can call 601-982-1231, and they will be happy to show you the Reed House in the back of Live Oaks Golf Club, nestled in between those beautiful live oaks. Kyle, thank you, bud.
Y'all have a good one, Bo.
See you, man. Kyle Morris, Live Oaks Golf Club on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We've got 2 giveaways going on right now. I'm going to tell you more about them on the other side. They're really, really good, and we built it around National Filet Mignon Day. We'll be back.